Ever hear the phrase oil on troubled water? A lot of people believe that oil calms troubled water down. And there is some truth in it. A lot of sailors used to, in the olden days, carry oil on board the ships to pour on the troubled water if they got into difficulties. To see how much truth, we really have to look at oil and we have to look at water. Let's look at the water first. So if I take a few drops of water and sprinkle them on this card, like that, you see that they really stay as little round globules of water. It's as if there's a rubber or elastic skin pulling them into shape. And you can see that there. So that's some of the tension. We call it surface tension in water because it acts at the surface. Well, if we put a bit of oil on there first and mix it up, here we go. I'll just spread that around a little and then I'll sprinkle some more water drops on it. You'll see they behave very differently. First of all, they really round up very tightly indeed. They don't mix with the oil, and because they're pulling apart, they flow more easily over the oil's surface. So the oil has quite a dramatic effect on the water, particularly in terms of those tensions that we talked about. Well, what's that got to do with troubled water? Most of the trouble on water, at least a lot of the trouble on water, comes from the wind. It blows over the surface and pulls the surface up into little kinks, and we call them little waves. They can be, in fact, quite big. Well, without the wind there, you can get ripples in the water, and if there's oil floating on the top, you get this sort of effect. The green water with the thin skin of oil on the top. And it's a uniform skin. It's the same thickness all the way around, and it doesn't affect the water very much at all. But when the wind blows over the surface, it grabs that water and pushes it in one direction, and we get little waves. And this is what the oil does. It goes thin on the long sloping back of the wave, and it goes thick on the front of the wave. And in so doing, it changes the tensions and operates against the wave, flattening the whole thing out. So it tends to calm it down. And I'll show you that in this tank here. Have a look. If I bring this bottle of oil in, you can see, pouring it on there, the ripples magically disappear until the wind blows the oil over. Have another look. Pour on the oil, the ripples vanish. In other words, the troubled water's calmed. One more time. And you see that effect sometimes when boats are going through water, they leave a sort of oily wake, and it often leaves a very sort of smooth wake on the path of the troubled sea. Well, is that the answer? If you're travelling in a boat, do you take lots of oil? Unfortunately not. The waves that really give you a lot of trouble in the sea are often caused by other forces. In fact, so big that the amount of oil you'd have to carry would actually sink your boat.